But then I went back to Forbidden Planet because there was that book that I desperately wanted to get, and then I kind of lost control while I was there. Hello my loves, and thank you for joining me. It's Kirsten and we're of course at the start of another weekly vlog. I am going to be carrying on with Belladonna this week. I'm buddy reading this with Steph and Ellie. I will have both their channels linked below, and they've steamrolled ahead. They're now halfway through the book. I have not, because I put it on hold for Hellbent, and I didn't want to stop reading Hellbent to then read Belladonna. I much prefer in Hellbent. But Belladonna is a YA fantasy. I'm reading this on my Kindle, well, on my phone. It's okay. We're following our main character Signa, and she can see death. Death is actually a character in this book. I like that concept of it. But back to Signa. Signa cannot be touched by death, so it doesn't matter what she does. She's tried a few different times to see if death will come for her, but never happens. If anything does happen, like say she eats a belladonna berry, she will be close to death but then recovers incredibly quickly and doesn't have any of the side effects from it. So it was an interesting concept, however I'm just not quite connecting to it. While there is a bit of a spooky atmosphere to this book, it could have been pushed a bit further. I'm not that far into it. I'm only on up to chapter 12 because we was going to be reading 12 chapters a week. I feel like this book is going to be quite predictable. Signa has been passed from family member to family member because when she was young, her parents, they passed away. As she's been growing up, death kind of follows her around, and so whenever she gets passed off to another family member, shortly afterwards they die and she has to move on again. She's now turned up at this hall, Thornfield Hall, with a distant relation, and she's terrified that death's going to be turning up again, and she just is trying to do everything she can to prevent that. However, when she gets there, there's already been a death, and now she's kind of looking into how this murder actually happened because she doesn't believe it was just a natural illness, and so there's a lot going on. Signa can see ghosts and stuff, which is also part of knowing that it was a natural murder because the ghosts are talking to her. It's okay, it's not a bad book, but I'm pleased that I went with my gut instinct of not buying the physical format because it's only available in hardback in the minute at the UK, and I'm pleased that I didn't pay out for the hardback because this would be a book that at the minute I really wouldn't reread and would have just unhauled the book because it's one of those ones like it's okay to read but that's it. So those are my thoughts on it at the moment. I'm just not quite gelling with it, but we're gonna see. I'm gonna carry on this week, catch up to where the girls are at, and probably finish the book up this week. So those are the definite reading plans for this week, is finishing Belladonna. As the rest of the reading plans, I'm not 100% sure. We're gonna see what the mood takes us out of my TBR. I think I've only got like 3 books. Yeah, I think so. Only 3 books left on my TBR, which is quite nice. And then something that I forgot to talk about when I was wrapping up last week's vlog, which was literally only 30 seconds, well, okay, 5 minutes ago, is that I picked up a book. I mentioned how in that vlog I really wanted to go book shopping, but that I was too tired to actually go out book shopping because of night shifts. When I went to do some food shopping, my local supermarket had this one, which is Pandora by Susan Stokes Chapman, and this is a book I had my eye on when it originally came out, but I didn't pick it up in hardback. I'm actually really pleased I didn't because I really like this baby blue cover. I think it's really nice, and this is a retelling of the Greek myth Pandora's Box, which is going to be really interesting to read. I'm really intrigued. I think it's more of like a historical fiction. We are in London 1799. Dora Blake lives with her uncle in what used to be her parents' famed shop of antiquities. When a mysterious Greek vase is delivered, Dora is intrigued by her uncle's suspicious behaviour and enlists the help of Edward Lawrence, a young antiquarian scholar. I'm really intrigued, and I feel like a Pandora's Box is going to be a really interesting one to read about. This is going to be good, but I just forgot to mention it. And also, let's get with the real updates for this week, because Animal Crossing. If you've been following for the last couple of weeks, you know that I'm back into playing Animal Crossing a lot, and it's been a whole adventure with some of the villagers. Well, today we have a new villager that's come in, and so we're going to be taking a look as to who that actually is. I've decided that I'm not going around hunting for them. There's a thing that you can do in the game where you go to different islands to find villagers that you want, but it takes forever, so I'm just not going to bother with that. So for all the ones that I have to have, because you have to fill up 3 more houses, I'm just going to let the game autofill those, and then there's certain cards that you can get to then get in the exact villages that you want. I'm going to do that. So let's see whether we get anyone that we actually want to keep or not, because if you've been following, you would know that we've not had a good track record. We have had these 3 and they're not it. So fingers crossed we get some better ones, but I'm not holding out much hope. I feel like the game is just not loving me this time around. But that's it. Those are all the updates. That's the start of this vlog. I hope you're all doing very well, and let me know, as always, what you've been up to, what you're reading, all the usual things. But for now, I'm going to go, and I will catch up with you when I've actually read something, and yeah, once we've discovered who that villager is going to be. Good morning! I had so many plans to read loads today. Hang on, I don't have any rings. Hang on, I feel weird. Also, let me start that again, because there was not loads of plans to read today, which yes, I do need to, but loads of plans to read yesterday. So on Sunday, I went over to my partner's, and that was lovely because with me having worked nights, we don't really see much of each other, so it was lovely to spend the Sunday afternoon together, and we were just playing this game on the PlayStation, which is a It Takes Two game, and it literally means it takes 2 of you. You have to play it together, you have to work together to figure out all these different puzzles and actually get through the game. It is hilarious and fun, there's loads of little mini games and everything. So that was a really good time, and I really enjoyed the Sunday, but I didn't read much, and what I did read wasn't for this vlog. I took Sunday to read for the 5-star books. The only problem is that I then thought, oh, that's fine, because Monday I'm going to be reading Belladonna, because it's an ebook on my phone, and I'm going to be able to read loads of that when I'm at work. That did not happen yesterday. At all. Like, at all. I was so surprised. I barely read anything. I got to chapter 16, page 132, which, considering I left that at chapter 12, I literally read like 4 chapters yesterday, and that was it. It was a really busy day and I didn't get much read. Also, partly because I'm not 100% into this book. It's okay, but I'm really not loving it. Like, there is something about this writing that I'm just not gelling with, and the way the characters talk to one another and just the realizations that our main character Signa comes to is just so slow, and I'm like, but we're already there, we already know this. Like, we're at page 132 and we've just confirmed the fact that, okay, yes, there's the late wife has been murdered. And Signa's like, oh my god, I can't believe this, and it's like, really? Can you please? Just like, it's just a bit over exaggerated, so I'm not gelling with it, which is a shame. I haven't spoken to Ellie or Steph yet, who I'm doing the buddy read with. They're further ahead than me, and so I was planning yesterday to catch up to where they're at, but that didn't happen. I think I'm going to drop them a message anyway and just be like, I'm really not gelling with this. I'm going to finish it because it is a buddy read, and I already DNF'd the last buddy read that I did, not with Ellie and Steph, I did one with Christina, and that was a thriller book and I did not enjoy it. So I don't really want to DNF this book because there isn't anything that I can say is worth DNFing. Like, it's an okay read, it's fast paced, it's easy to read, I just am not connecting with it, so it's one that I can definitely hand on the heart say I'm so pleased I bought the ebook version of, which I've already said when I was talking about this book. I'm not connecting to it. I still like Death as an actual character, and I feel like he's the most interesting character, as well as this stable boy. He's interesting because Silas. Other than that, I'm just not connecting to this. I don't like Signa as the main character, and I think that's the problem. I don't like her, and so I'm not gelling with it. And as much as there's like atmosphere, it's only like every so often will there be a piece of writing that I think, oh, that's really good. So I don't know, it's okay, but I'm not in love with it. I'm hoping it picks up. I'm gonna see what they're thinking of it. Problem is, the reason why I wanted to be so like, oh, I need to read loads, is because of the extra vlog that I have, which is the 5-star reading vlog. I'm falling behind. I need to catch up. I'm going to be doing an update for that one in a moment, but yeah, I am way behind where I wanted to be. So this week I think we're just gonna hopefully... What are you doing? The cat's gone crazy. Finishing Belladonna. That's one thing that I really, really want to do, is finish Belladonna this week. So fingers crossed we'll get that done. And then I was actually, let me go get it, thinking to take Animal Farm by George Orwell with me to work. This is only a short classic. It's less than 100 pages long, and so I think, especially with reading this on my way to work, and then I'm going to my partner's tonight, so after work going to his, so on the train journey there, I should get this finished up. It's a nice quick read. So many people have read this book and I have not read it, and I'm really intrigued to see what I think about this book. I don't know anything about it apart from the fact that we have talking animals on a farm, so it's going to be really interesting to see what this is about. I know that it's meant to be a look or a commentary on our society or something. I'm not sure. I could just be talking out my arse there. I don't know. But what I do know is that loads of people actually read this in school. I got Great Expectations by Charles Dickens, so I got a massive, huge, dense book. Not a bad book, to be fair, but other people were getting this lovely little thing, which I feel like I was outdone. But I am intrigued to read it. Loads of people have said it's one of their favourite books, so I'm going to give this a try and hopefully get this read today or maybe even into tomorrow and just get that finished. Make a bit more progress with Belladonna. Fingers crossed that all goes okay. Now, inside news, Animal Crossing. Why with the villagers? As we saw, I have a new villager, and okay, it's not a pig, and if you saw, was it last week, so the video before that, 2 weeks ago, you would know that I was having a crisis with having to deal with pig villagers. And so now this isn't a pig, it's a crocodile, which, you know what, fair enough, but it's not a villager that I want. So again, we're at a point where it's just not great. Actually, I started off this game with 2 villagers. One I was really happy with, and another crocodile, which I haven't spoken about because I was not happy, but I took it because at the end of the day we had 1 villager I'm happy with. So we have 2 pigs and 2 crocodiles. And why? Why does this game not like me? I know I've said I'm going to get those cards and actually just choose the ones exactly that I want, but seriously, I have 0 luck in this game. But that's it. That was the side note about Animal Crossing, because I'm still loving it, still wanting to play it. Yesterday I didn't play it at all, which was a bit of a shame because I wanted to, but at the same time I slept and I really needed that sleep before going back to work, so I'm not mad about it. Today I'm going to play on it. Think we're going to have a new villager or not, I'm not sure, so I will put that in if we find one. At this point I have no hope, like there is no hope of what these villagers are going to be, but it's fine. It's fine. Anyway, I've rambled at you and I feel like it was a lot of nothing because, let's face it, I haven't read much. So hopefully the next update is going to be better, with me have made significant progress with Belladonna and hopefully finished Animal Farm. That's what we're hoping for. Whether it's going to happen or not, who actually knows? But right, okay, I need to go. I need to do another update and then get myself ready for work because, of course, I have work. It's just never ending. It's freezing cold. I have a book rant and a book haul to get through, so let's do this. The book rant, let's start there with Belladonna. I've read more of this. I'm now, you know, I always need to actually get this up so that I know where I'm at when I update, but do I do this? No. So I'm on chapter 23. This is page 200 of 408, so that's halfway through the book. I actually need to find out where Ellie and Steph are in the book and see, are they going to be finishing it this week or not, because I don't want to be like racing to finish it if they're not planning to. But yeah, okay. So nothing's kind of improved from what I said before with how I feel about the characters and stuff. It's okay. Like, it's a book that I can read and be fine with, but I wouldn't ever reread and stuff. Like, it's nothing major. And then I noticed something in the book and I can't unnotice it, and it's really getting on my nerves, which this could just be a me thing because I can be a bit pedantic, but it's to do with the timings of the book. So I'm going to do this with as little spoilers and stuff as possible. When we first go to this manor house that Signa has been given to, she goes out at night into the garden to find the ghost of the dead wife. Part of that, she has to use Death's powers to get into this garden. And that's on the very first night that she's there. And then it talks about time passing. So the fact that she's trying to meet with the daughter but can't because there's always somebody in the room and stuff, and she's finding it really awkward. The fact that she's finally got some new dresses because they've been made and everything, and she's fed up of wearing this yellow dress. So time has passed. And then she sneaks out of house at night. There's a couple of references that make it seem like it was only last night that she went to that garden, which isn't the case in the book, because unless something happened that was off page, that didn't happen. That was on her very first night, and obviously time has passed since then. But she mentions about the fact that she can't get caught being out the house twice in a row. I'm like, but it's not twice in a row. It's, okay, your second time, but it's not in a row. And then she meets up with Death again, and he goes, oh, did you enjoy using my powers last night? And it's like, but she's been refusing to touch your powers since that night. So it wasn't last night. It bothers me. And I thought maybe I'm going crazy here. So I read on a bit further, and then it says how she feels like compassion or something for her cousin, like in the month that she's got to know him. So I'm like, so time has passed. So what was with this bit? It drove me insane. Like, it really bothered me, and I know it's something so small and it shouldn't be that big a deal. And I actually sent a whole like rant message to the girls and was like screenshots of books and stuff and being like, look at this and look at this, and yeah, they didn't respond, which I don't blame them for because it was a bit much. But yeah, it bothers me. And so that's another thing where I'm like, I can't with this book. And also there seems to be like a bit of a romance blossoming between Signa and Death, and I find that a bit weird because he's known her since she was a baby and he's kept coming back as she's been growing up, and so it just feels a bit weird. So yeah, that's Belladonna. I did start Animal Crossing and I haven't finished it. Animal Crossing? No, Animal Farm. And I haven't finished it just yet. I'm on page 58. Almost done. I think I've got like 40 pages left. And I could have finished it last night, but I didn't do that. I am really enjoying this. I'm enjoying this so much more than what I thought I would, to be honest. I put this off for ages thinking it wasn't really going to be my sort of cup of tea. However, I'm really enjoying it, and I actually wish that I'd brought like a pen to annotate or something, because I can see why this book is studied. It's so interesting and it talks about so many different things, and I like how it looks at basically our society and the way it functions and stuff, but puts it to animals. It just has such a big impact. I don't know, I think it's really good. I really am enjoying reading this book, and I can't believe I put it off. Like I say, I do wish I annotated it, but I can always read it again. Like, it's a nice quick read. It's not anything that takes ages to read, and it's really accessible writing. I just find it so interesting, the things that are happening in this book. The fact that the animals overthrew their human supervisors or stuff. Like on this farm, they got rid of the humans so that they can run it themselves, and so that all the animals are treated fairly. There's no need for animals to die, or no need for them not to eat their fair share and things like this. And then seeing how it just gets twisted and it's darker, and I don't know, I'm really enjoying this one. And then we have the book haul, because yesterday I was on the hunt for one particular book and it didn't happen as easily as what I hoped. So first of all, we did go into Forbidden Planet, and I did see it there, but I wanted to go to Waterstones to get the book because I have £10 on my Waterstones card, so I wanted to use that to get the book. But I did pick up one book when we went into Forbidden Planet, and that is The Wolf and the Woodsman by Ava Reid, and this was 99 pence. 99 pence. Like, that's ridiculous. And again, because it's like, oh, sold as damaged, and you know, the only bit of damage is this little thing here. Like, it's tiny, it's absolutely tiny. It was amazing. I'm so pleased I found it. Honestly, always check out their sale section because you never know what's going to be in there. And the fact that I got this for 99 pence and it's not, like, this is good condition as far as I'm concerned. So I got it for £8 cheaper. I don't really know anything about this one. I know some people have been doing reviews and stuff and they do recommend it. I've got one of Ava Reid's other books, Juniper and Thorn, on my TBR, and I just thought, why not? Then I went to Waterstones and they did not have the book that I wanted. I actually asked one of the staff there and said, like, do you have this book? Is it a new release? No, they don't have it. I shouldn't have been surprised, but I did still spend my £10 there. I actually ended up with 2 books. So first of all, I decided to pick up The Last Housewife by Ashley Winstead. This is a book that I've read and adored, and I really wanted to get a copy of this book, and I kind of wanted it in hardback to match with My Dark Vanessa because I feel like these books are similar-ish. Basically, I really liked it. I really like the cover, I really like the font and everything. I just think it really works, and it was half price. When I originally went to the half price hardback sale, I was looking for this book but couldn't find it anywhere, and then I found it and it was still half price, so I'm really pleased with that because I paid the price of a paperback for this. It doesn't have anything like lovely onto the dust jacket or anything, which, you know, I really want my hardbacks to have that, but it doesn't matter. I really like it. I'm really pleased that I picked this one up. It's a really nice, it's a bit like a thriller book. It's really good. I really enjoyed this one, and this was one that I read in December, and I read the Kindle version. Automatically wanted to get it because I was highlighting in the Kindle book, so I would really like to reread this at some point and annotate it and stuff. I think it was so powerful, so interesting. And then I also picked up another book which is a new release, and I fell in love with it. It looked beautiful, so decided to use my voucher on that. God Killer by Hannah Canna. This is one that I had on my anticipated releases, and look how stunning this cover is. It is absolutely beautiful. I am in love. It is absolutely gorgeous. And then I was having a look and opened it up, and what? This is absolutely stunning. Look at that. Those are the end pages, and after seeing that I was like, well, I have to have it. I have to. There's nothing else on the actual hardback or anything, but I loved those end pages so much, so decided to pick this one up as well. So that was a great time. Very happy with getting this one. They had loads of these books, which I don't know, I loved it. I thought it was absolutely beautiful. Again, I'm not going too much into any of these books. If you are interested, I will do a book haul eventually. And this one I did have in my anticipated releases where I went into depth on what it actually is. But basically it's like, God, we have a god killer literally on the title, and then she comes across a god that she can't kill. I believe it's a standalone and it's a short one, and I can't wait to read it. I've heard nothing but good things on reviews on TikTok, so very happy with that. But then I went back to Forbidden Planet because there was that book that I desperately wanted to get, and then I kind of lost control while I was there. I was really good when I first went and just got that one book because I was like, okay, I know that book's there. If Waterstones don't have it, I know I can come back. Problem is, when I come back to a place, I lose all semblance of self-control. And so that's what's happened here. And the book I wanted to get was Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies by Heather Fawcett. It was £2 off in Forbidden Planet, which was lovely. I have been desperate to read this one. I've been looking forward to it. It's one of my most anticipated releases. Again, it was in that video, and I've just been seeing so many people loving this book and raving about it, and I knew I had to read it. I can't wait. Again, nothing under the dust jacket or anything, which I think is a bit of a shame because it's so beautiful. But yeah, I knew that I wanted this straight away. I knew I didn't want to wait for the paperback. It was just something that I'm in love with. Look how beautiful this is, and an encyclopedia of fairies. Like, it just sounds like everything I'm going to love. So I picked up that, and then I decided to get 2 more books because of course I did. And one of them is Gideon the Ninth by Tamsin Muir, and this is because I have the second book, Harry the Ninth, and I got that one for 99p from Forbidden Planet, again because it was damaged, and it's really not damaged. This one I got £2 off, so that was really good, and that's kind of what sold it to me because I was like, what's the chances of me finding this book for 99p like the first one? And at the end of the day, I've basically got both of these books for £11, so that's not bad at all. Again, this one is in space with necromancers and they're gay, and I don't know, it's meant to be really good. Sylvie from TBR Diaries really likes this series, and I don't know, I'm intrigued. I do want to read more sci-fi, and this is one of the series that I would love to start this year, so had to pick it up, and as it was £2 off, why not? So yeah, got that one. And then the last book that I picked up is because I knew it was going to be out, but I didn't know, actually, did I know it was going to be out now, or did I have it in another video? I'm not sure. I feel like try again. I feel like I said it was in the anticipated releases video for January and February, but I have filmed the March and April one already, so I'm getting a bit confused as to where things are. But this book is Lost in the Moment and Found by Shauna Maguire. This is the newest release in the Wayward Children series. I love this series. I absolutely adore it. I cannot get these books through Waterstones. I normally get them through Amazon because that's where I find them. However, Forbidden Planet had this one and it was £4 off. It worked out cheaper than Amazon, so I was very, very pleased with this. And it is a new release. I'm not going to talk too much about what this is. I mean, to be fair, I haven't talked about any of these books, but this one is the most recent in the series. I think it's the 8th or 9th installment. Editing Kirsten will put it here. But yeah, I love this series. Portal Fantasy, all short novellas. Really enjoy it, so I was more than happy to find this for £4 off. So that was my little haul. It had a really nice day yesterday. We went to Borough Market and just had a little wander around and obviously did some book shopping. It was just a really nice day. Bloody freezing, but a really nice day. For today I'm going off to my dad's house, so we're going to be playing some board game. Try and finish I keep wanting to say Animal Crossing. No, I'm going to try and finish Animal Farm today and get that done, and then we'll see what book I pick up next. And then also progress with Belladonna. I need to message Ellie and Steph and find out, have they finished it? Are they in the middle of finishing it? Anyway, I'm gonna go and I'll probably catch up with you maybe tomorrow morning. Who actually knows? But yeah, I'm gonna go because I do have a train to catch and I'm going to be late if I'm not careful, which is no surprise really. Well, I've read more of Belladonna and it's safe to say that I'm just not enjoying this book, which is disappointing. So I'm almost finished, which means I'll be definitely finishing it today. But I'm now up to chapter 36, page 310, so I really don't have long left at all. But I'm just not gelling with this book at all. It's really frustrating. I know I went into this book thinking that I wouldn't love this book, and that was fine, but I did think I would at least like it because, as I've mentioned, I like her other duology. Not enough to reread it or keep it, but I did enjoy it as a nice light YA fantasy read. This one I just am not gelling with at all, and it's disappointing because it's worse than what I thought it was going to be, and that's what I'm finding, and it's just so annoying. It is what it is. I mean, at this point I don't really want to go into too much because some of it is spoilers, and I know some people have really enjoyed this book. Again, I haven't seen anyone gushing about it, but have been still like a nice breakup from what they was reading and, you know, an enjoyable fun time. I just haven't got there, and I think it is because I just can't quite connect to the characters that are in this book, and there are points where it feels really young, but then there'll be some really quite grotesque descriptions sometimes, though that was mainly in the first part of the book. So it just feels very conflicted a lot of the time. There has been a couple of like quotes here and there which I really like, which was quite nice, but it is only the odd sentence here or there. There was one particular ghost which I thought was quite cool. So we get told in this world that ghosts stay on because of a particular emotion or something that they want to do. This ghost has stayed on because their one goal is to read all the books in this library, and I was like, I can connect with that. I mean, I would stay on as a ghost if it meant I could read. That just sounds great. So yeah, that was fun. Probably the most connection I've had to a character in this thing, and it was like a one-page thing. Then there was a couple of sentences because Signa's very obsessed with finding a husband and coming out into society and having all these parties and things like this, and then she's talking to a couple of girls that are a bit more like, but why? Why do you want that? you're in a position where you have so much money, you can do whatever you want. And if you decide to get married, you're going to have to be so careful, because a lot of the men are going to want to use you for your money, because that money then isn't yours anymore. And you know how restrictive it can be to be a woman. And I thought those discussions were really good. But again, it's so lightly placed that it's frustrating, because I think if the book had been more about that, that would have been great. And I like the fact that it is in there and it does discuss it, but it just doesn't go that in depth. It's like a one conversation and then we move past it. Plus, you know, how I feel about the love interest is just a bit, why? There has been a couple of like mysteries. You've got the person who's poisoning people. I think I know who that is. And we've had a lot of their reasonings behind it. So I feel like that is a possibility. I could be wrong, and I would like to be wrong, but I feel like I kind of know. And then I have a theory on who Death is, because he can become a corporal person, and I have a feeling I know who that is as well, which again, I'm going to keep that to myself. I will just let you know whether I'm right or not. But yeah, it's not the best book. So I'm looking forward to finishing it and then being able to move on to a different ebook. However, a book that I have finished is Animal Farm, and I really did like this one. It's made me really intrigued to see more of George Orwell's work. I know he's got a couple of books that are a bit bigger. I'm glad I started off with this one because it's a nice little insight into his writing style, which I actually found, as I've mentioned, really accessible, and I really liked it. And I think the way he approaches things in society and translates it into a book, it really worked. I really enjoyed this bit. There is one part which I dogged the page because I just thought it sums up this book really well. As Clover looked down the hillside, her eyes filled with tears. If she could have spoken her thoughts, it would have been to say that this was not what they had aimed at when they had set themselves years ago to work for the overthrow of the human race. These scenes of terror and slaughter were not what they looked forward to on that night when old Major first stirred them into rebellion. If she herself had had any picture of the future, it had been a society of animals set free from hunger and the whip, all equal, each working according to his capacity, the strong protecting the weak, as she had protected the lost brood of ducklings with her foreleg on the night of Major's speech. Instead, she did not know why they had come to a time when no one dared speak his mind, when fierce growling dogs roamed everywhere, and when you had to watch your comrades torn to pieces after confessing to shocking crimes. And I think that really highlights this book. It kind of encapsulates everything in this book, and I found it so powerful, so moving, and it's less than 100 pages long. I am so pleased I finally picked this up, and as I say, intrigued to see more of what George Orwell's got to offer. So that's really good. I'm really pleased with that. I feel like I haven't read loads this week. I have just for another video because I left it all to the last minute, but I am thinking of picking up Across the Green Grass Fields by Shauna Maguire. This is another short book, it's less than 200 pages, and I feel like I can get this finished over the next 2 days. So I think that's the plan. We're also going to read this one. This is the 6th book in the Wayward Children series, and I was having a look at it yesterday, and it actually says on the inside flap that this is a standalone within the universe, which I think is quite interesting. Up till now, all the odd books have been a continuation from book 1, and all the even books have been a prequel to book 1, so you get an insight into the characters. But apparently this is a brand new character, doesn't have any connection, and is just a standalone. So a good point to see if you like this world that Shauna Maguire's created, which I think is really interesting actually. I think it's going to be really good to see whether I agree with that, whether I agree that this is a good place to start if you don't want to commit to such a long series, even though they are all really small books. So yeah, I'm looking forward to reading this one. I have really high hopes that I'm really going to like this because I love the Wayward Children series, Portal Fantasy. I think it's going to be great. I haven't played any more of Animal Crossing this week. It's been so busy. I just haven't had the time to do much of anything. Again, my own fault because I got so behind on one of the videos, which leads me to the fact that I actually need to stop rambling and go edit, because I have a video due up tomorrow and it's not even edited or anything because I've been so behind, and that is completely my fault. But let's try and get some of that done this morning. Oh, I showed you yesterday pea milk. Didn't know that was a thing, but really tasty. Have you tried it? Like, I'm a bit confused. I don't know whether it's like a garden pea or something, or if it's a different kind of pea, but it works really well as a milk. It's actually got quite a nice like vanilla taste to it. So yesterday with the cookies and milk for breakfast, okay, not the healthiest breakfast in the world, but hella tasty. That was really good. So that's my question of the week. Pea milk. Have you had it? Would you have it? Because this was surprisingly good. My partner found it and I liked it. Good afternoon. I am back from work because I couldn't be bothered to update yesterday, to be honest, and I didn't actually finish Across the Green Grass Fields until quite late in the evening, and I just didn't have it in me, so instead went to work and going to do it now for you. I really liked this book. It was so lovely, but at the same time so bittersweet because the ending of the book is so sad. Like, I actually can't deal with how sad that ending was. You knew it was coming. You knew it was coming the whole time, but it doesn't change the fact that I wish it ended differently. It was just so gut-wrenching. But it is a beautiful little story. I'm not going to go into specifics as I already mentioned. Pretty sure I mentioned that because it is such a short book. It's only 174 pages, but it's lovely and it is what I've come to expect from Shauna Maguire's writing. So in this book, it feels like you're being told a story. I know that's weird, but like, you know, if you were a child and you're being told a fairy tale, that's what this feels like. It feels very like Grimm's fairy tale-esque. And I like it because of that. This book is a standalone. It doesn't have any connections to the rest of the series, so it is a good place that if you don't know, if you want to invest in the rest of the books, because it is a long series even though they are short, this is a good place to test out her writing and see if you like it, and just see if the Wayward Children series is something for you, because it is such a separate standalone. It's unique character, unique world, and none of it blends into anything else. Each book does focus on a different core theme that Shauna Maguire is discussing, and this book focuses on intersex and what that means. It is done in a simplified way, one because it's such a short book, and two because our main character Reagan is a child when she is being told this from her parents. So she's intersex and what that means for her and the fallout that comes of that. All of these books are an exploration of finding yourself in whatever form that means, and it's lovely and heartwarming as a result. So yeah, really enjoyed this one. So pleased that I'm finishing off the week with this book. And that does bring us to the end of this weekly vlog. As always, I am impressed if you've made it this far. I talk and ramble a lot, so thank you so much, and I hope you have enjoyed it. I forgot, actually, Editing Kirsten put me in before the end bit. There are illustrations in this book. They are stunning as well. I love them. There's only a few, but it is something that I love about this series, is that there are illustrations within these books. It just, I don't know, it works. I love an illustration in a book. But okay, now let's cut back to the end bits to wrap it up. So stop myself from rambling anymore. I'm literally going to start saying the end pieces, and I think for this emoji we're going to put a horse. So if you've made it this far, then put a horse emoji in the comments below. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching. I hope you have enjoyed. If you have enjoyed it, please do give it that thumbs up, subscribe and comment. Those three things are really important to helping this channel grow. Social media links will be linked below, and I will of course catch you in the next video.